All right, had trouble getting off mute there. All right, welcome everyone to the keynote here today. Let me stop sharing here. We have got a great panel here of real stories about what people are doing with VCF and with VMware. And in the backstage, we were talking about, this is kind of the magic of VMUG. This is VMUG members are people that are actually doing the work. They're actually getting things done. And so we're going to have a panel here on what some of these companies you're about to get introduced to are doing. So with that, let's go ahead and have the panelists introduce themselves and tell a little bit about what your job role is and how long you've been doing it. Ellen, why don't you kick us off?
Sure, thank you. Hi, I'm Ellen Spencer. I'm a senior system administrator for the University of Texas system. I am a old school long-term VMware administrator in it from kind of the beginning. I've taught it back with the academy. Yeah, I'm annoying. I'm sorry.
Oh, great. Lance, why don't you go next?
Sure. My name is Lance Russell. I've been in IT for 26 years. Started out in networking and slowly moved my way to virtualization. And currently I'm the VDI SME for University of Texas System.
Fantastic. Chris?
Hi, I'm Chris Rusnak. I'm a senior system engineer at Christiana Care. I've been in IT for the past 20 years and have seen amazing changes and looking forward to what's coming next.
Awesome. And Greg, why don't you close this out here?
Yes, sir. My name is Greg Fry. I'm the IT supervisor for the infrastructure team at Christiana Care Health Systems. I've been doing it for around 28 years at Christiana and been a long-term supporter of VMware as well. So looking forward to new things to come.
Well, thank y'all for being VMUG members and thank y'all for sharing your stories here. You can hear that, we have got decades worth of experience on this panel. So if you have questions, put them in the Q&A and we will have some time at the end to go through that. Might even work them in as we're going live here. But Greg, let's stick with you. I know that when we were prepping for this, we were talking about your environment and you started out like many of our members in that ESX vCenter environment. Where are you now and where are you planning on going? Because I think that resonates with a lot of our members.
Sure. We started out, we implemented initially ESX 4 and worked our way up to a few years back. We worked our way into VCF 4, and now we're on 5.2. And later this year, we have another big go live coming up in the fall. But once that's completed, we anticipate on our migration to 9.1, and we're looking forward to that change. Very excited about it.
That's great. Now, Christiana Care, tell us, we should have mentioned a little bit about, what y'all do. Obviously, y'all are in healthcare, but give a little bit more about what Christiana Care does.
Sure. We're a hospital organization. We have 3 hospitals, large scale hospitals. We have several, what they refer to as micro hospitals. We have 3 of those currently, and we're building about 3 more throughout the state of Delaware, Pennsylvania, and in Maryland as well. So we're growing, and the number of users and caregivers that we have is a growing number as well. And we provide support for all the applications they use on a daily basis to provide care to our patients.
Great, that sounds good. So you mentioned that you're going to go straight to 9.1. What was the thought process in that from, right now you're at 5.2, going straight into 9.1?
Sure. We've been doing this, I've been doing it for a while. Chris has been doing it for a while, and we've learned throughout time that it's not always best to be the first one in the coal mine, and it's sometimes there's pain points to that. So we were kind of on the fence about it. We were excited about what VCF 9 was going to bring to the table, but we also heard some growing pains for some other folks at VM Explorer, and Chris can attest to that. Some tales he heard from other folks that we're early adopters. And in our situation where we're at, we have a small POC environment, which isn't necessarily nothing's like production, right? So we all know that. So you put something in production, that's where you're going to find that things are going to shake out. So we weren't in a good situation at the time where we want to roll that out to production and put our end users in that scenario without knowing what it was going to feel like. So we held off. Is that fair, Chris?
Oh, 100%. I mean, we've in general have made a lot of adoptions and changes since I started a little over 4 years ago. We started with VCF 4.1, and our 9 dot we postponed. The main reason being our management. We've now gone into stretch clusters. So making a change and implementing a stretch cluster, as well as, it would have been a 902. 9.1 wasn't ready yet. And there were one too many bugs that we ran into to keep our environment, healthy enough to make sure. So any changes we're going to make, we will want to be 100% sure before we hit that go.
So when moving to VCF, I know you're looking at vSAN and getting into the hyperconverged. Where are you in that journey?
Oh, we're currently 90% vSAN. We have ESA as well as OSA.
Okay.
So our management cluster and one of our hospitals are ESA. And giving an indication, as I mentioned, we were doing stretch clusters. So we were doing latency checks between the two. And with an OSA model, we were getting 36 milliseconds. With an ESA model, same network, everything, 3 milliseconds. So the improvement from OSA to ESA is night and day. Deduplication, global deduplication, and so forth has been a big change. Unfortunately, due to budget constraints, we're not able to, implement more ESA. That will be in the future, though, and looking forward to it. I mean, all the changes that are coming in 9.1, it's vMotion alone. How you can change how vMotion will do DRS to limit any type of outages is a great function and feature. VMware has listened to its customers, and they are moving in that direction.
So you mentioned you went from 36 milliseconds to 3. Do I understand that right? That's in your current 5.2 environment with no changes to the network or anything?
That's correct.
That's pretty impressive. And
Yeah.
now with AI coming and everything else, milliseconds matter. And
Yeah.
obviously in healthcare, I mean, that's, mission life critical there.
Right.
That's fantastic. So when you're looking at the vSAN, is there any other things that you're looking at, maybe Kubernetes, or what y'all's plan or what's on the roadmap from an AI perspective with Christina Care?
Sure, I'll take this.
Okay.
For us, we're not really a DevOps shop, but we have a lot of vendors, and traditional it's Windows, Red Hat, those kind of environments. But I want to be able to provide those environments to new vendors as we move forward, to be able to sustain a Kubernetes containerized workload environment that we don't currently have today, that we don't support today, and know what it's going to entail. Same thing around AI. We are not there from an on-prem AI perspective. We have some third-party vendors we utilize for some AI functionalities, but when leadership comes around the corner, and I imagine they will at some point in time, asking the question of what can we do around private AI, I want to have the answers, and I want to have the solution ready to go when those questions come up. So that's kind of where we're at on those two fields today, and I'm excited about both of them. But baby steps. I got to get there, and then wait for someone to ask the right question, and I'll be ready to pounce on it.
That's right. And it's nice that, with the VCF platform, there's so many different things you can do, and you're able to kind of adopt it when you're ready to adopt it. It's one of the things that Paul mentioned in the keynote is, you don't have to go full VCF to begin with. You can do 9.1 with just a ESX and vCenter. I know Christina Care is already adopting everything or most everything. So that might not pertain to you, but for a lot of our members, that is an important change that they've got in 9.1. All right, let's shift a little bit over here to Ellen and Lance. So first of all, explain to everybody what the University of Texas Systems is and who y'all serve.
Yeah, I'll take that. So UT System is kind of like a collective bargaining organization that helps the smaller UT schools have the same power as UT Austin when they come to buy contracts. So we use Oracle for our ERP. Everybody knows they're the cheapest solution out there. So we bring all that together, and we can bring those user numbers up so that they actually want to play ball with us. That also applies to Broadcom and other costs. So we do IT for pretty much everybody but UT Austin. Would you agree with that, Ellen?
Well, it's mostly HR systems, PeopleSoft.
Yeah.
That's our bread and butter is PeopleSoft and shared service.
Yeah.
So Lance, I had a question from the audience I want to ask. You mentioned that you're a VDI administrator. Is this on the Omnissa platform?
Yes.
Okay. And what's your future direction with VDI?
Well, my first VMware certification was VDI cert. So I'm kind of old school, but I've worked with Citrix. I've done some Zen Desktop. I've done a lot of different platforms. We have some RDSH stuff that we do as well. Our direction is to stick with it. Omnissa is also iterating. They are bringing in so much AI tools into the Workspace ONE product, really trying to automate and early detect problems that are common. Their workflow orchestration is really good. So our plans are to stick with them for the long term. So that's where we're at with that.
And at the back end of that, going to be VCF or VBF?
Yeah, it'd definitely be VCF. I'm sure we'll get to it, but we have two main environments. One is the AI that is on VCF, and then our share environment where our ERP and the VDI lives is the traditional vSphere environment.
So you mentioned Oracle, and at VMUG we obviously are focused on VMware, but we know our members do more than just VMware. We're all being asked to do wear a lot of different hats. And so, tell us a little bit about your Oracle environment and where it is now and where you're planning to move it to.
Well, for us, we've got a lot of VMs. Everybody knows those Oracle database servers are greedy monsters that never stop growing. vMotioning some of those things can be a nightmare. But yeah, we plan to stay on that path. We work well with Oracle. All of our development teams, our DBAs are all very savvy with Oracle. But our biggest concern is, looking towards the future from a hardware perspective. Being able to refresh our hardware at current costs is a little scary. So we're looking forward to the memory tiering to hopefully bring some of that price down and make it a little more tolerable. Some of us are hoping AI disappears and servers become cheap again, but I don't think that's going to happen. So, Ellen?
I'll tag on to that. The other piece is, of course, containers, which we're just the lowly sysadmins. We just make things work. We don't really do anything. Containers, we're told containers are coming, and so we are pretty excited about VKS for management of that as well.
Yeah, it's interesting from a VKS perspective. It was part of Tanzu separate. Now it's built into VCF. Kind of your point, Chris. I do feel like that, Broadcom is listening to their customers. And they're, like live patching, that's something we've been asking for, for a while. And those things are getting in there. And I think that's that broader vision of they are solely focused on VCF. There's no different business units and those kind of things. And it is, pretty much VCF or nothing. I realize there's VVF and there's some other, we've got a global audience here. So there's some other SKUs out there as well. But it is nice to see the improvements that they're adding in that. And, I'll say it at a fairly quick pace. I mean, 5.2 was good, 9.0 is good, but 9.1 has really got a lot of good features out there. And we're seeing that come quicker and quicker, as we all need to, as the landscape is changing with AI. So, Ellen, from an AI perspective, you've got some nice initiatives going over there at University of Texas System. So why don't you talk about what you're doing from an AI perspective?
Okay, well, we kind of have a tale of two vSpheres right now. We have the PeopleSoft, which is like this thing that we wrap in cellophane, put in a bag, and seal it up and protect it at all costs. It is still running on 8, and we will wait to upgrade it. And to speak to things like what Christiana has said, you kind of want to make sure you've got that all ready to go. AI has been a little bit more like the Wild Wild West, because that is just the world that AI is. We try to test and do all of that. That's usually where the challenges come in. With the cost of GPUs, there's not a whole lot of money to have entire dev GPU systems out there. So you end up not being able to fully test things before you have to go live with them. But we are doing some, I think, pretty cool things with minimal resources in our AI environment. And again, it ties right into our shared services model. We have shared services. Now we're just sharing out GPU, LLMs, allowing some of the smaller schools who wouldn't have necessarily the environment's ability to come in and do development and just solve problems for the colleges.
So what version are you running that AI on?
We are on 5.2, or sorry, let me start again. We just finished our upgrade to 9.02. These invitations came in kind of when we were like in the middle of doing the upgrade, and 9.1 literally came out in the middle of the upgrade. So I don't have finished clicked on 9.02 and 9.01's out, and I'm like, okay, oh boy.
And
We
it was
needed
such
to
a
go to
smooth migration too, right, Ellen?
our issues with the 9.02 upgrade were largely AI related. There was no great upgrade path between where we were on 5.2, which was fully utilizing the supervisor clusters with all of the AI services, to the new consumption model on 9.02. There just wasn't. So you're sort of ripping out something by the foundation and then rebuilding it quickly, of course. So when we say we had pain points, that doesn't necessarily speak to the product or to anybody else who is thinking about doing this. Our case was a little bit special because of what we were doing, how fast we were doing it, and how many moving parts there were to that solution. So I don't want that to discourage anybody.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're on 5.2 or you're on one of the lower versions, the best thing I can tell you to avoid hassles when you do it is to do your due diligence now. Learn about the differences. If you have test hardware, set up a test environment. If you don't have test hardware, hands-on labs. The hands-on labs are awesome. Engage with your VMware support team. That is the other piece that I probably can't emphasize enough. And it was said already, but VMware is listening. Support is there. They are listening and they will help you. So no matter how things go, the communication that you have will matter later, if not for you, then for somebody else. So complain loud and complain often. No, I'm kidding. Just communicate, because there are a lot of things that you can do before you even attempt that upgrade. And I think most of us know that already. But like I said, the hands-on labs, you can go in there and do whatever you want to. It's just a really, really great tool. And I highly advise anybody to take advantage of it.
I've heard that from other members, like the upgrade can be very smooth. And I know you're kind of in a unique AI situation. And I agree with you. AI is the wild, wild west for everybody. We're all kind of figuring this out as we go. building the plane as we fly it, as they say. But doing your due diligence, there's a lot of tools out there that were mentioned in the opening keynote to run those tests. And, it's almost that pre-upgrade playbook, which I understand is quite large, but still you need to go through that, do the due diligence to make sure that when you do this upgrade, it goes as smooth as possible. So as far as your environment, about how big is your environment? How many hosts do you have?
In our AI environment specifically,
Yes.
or in our AI environment's relatively small. We just have at this point 4 GPU hosts, 4 management clusters. We have 20 GPUs, which again, when you think about small, that's not a small amount of GPUs to have that. One more thing I meant to say a minute ago was that, gosh, I just lost it. Okay, never mind. Forget I said anything.
It'll come back to you. So Christina, Kara, I wanted to ask you about, you're getting ready to go to 9.1 and kind of all this same theme. Chris, you mentioned that you had talked to people that, there was some challenges on that. What are y'all doing to prep for this upgrade y'all have coming up here in a few months?
Well, as Greg mentioned, our POC environment, it's not large, but it has all the products of all the ARIA suite that's now part of operations. And the new runbook, they have an upgrade guide that Broadcom has. Read it, use it. The other suggestion, passwords. Passwords for all your appliances, all your worker nodes, and so forth. Make sure you know them. Make sure they're not going to expire. You'll especially find that within Kubernetes when things start transitioning into 9.1, where you have a more robust Kubernetes foundation. You'll need to make sure you know what all your passwords are. That is one thing that we've run into. Didn't know we needed it before. Never had to go into a worker node. So there's some of the lessons learned. But the new upgrade planning tool that Broadcom have is great. It definitely will help you see what will be within the future coming. Also, the new workbook when you're doing Cloud Builder. You can actually see the amount of memory, virtual CPUs you need, hard drive space, everything before you deploy it. It doesn't get better than that right now.
Yeah, I think that's smart words there to get prepared. And even something simple as like know your passwords. Obviously we all know we need to know the passwords, but
Right.
that's something I can see a lot of people forgetting about. And then it's, 2:30 in the morning and you're trying to get the system up and running and you're scrambling to find some, password that's crazy long and all this kind of stuff. So, that's good advice. Some of the just basic blocking and tackling. Think about that now. So when you're in the throes of the upgrade, it's just, oh, here it is. I've got it ready to go.
Well, they've changed a lot of, you used to be able to go into an appliance and do a bin bash and reset an admin password. A lot of that has changed now. You can't. So that's why I said, stress it, not just your regular vSphere, it's all your passwords.
Yeah, and those things, get refreshed. So, think about that refresh cycle on those as well. One thing a lot of our members are talking about and getting ready for, and it was touched on the keynote as well, is about patching. And, Broadcom's going to be patching monthly. I think that that's going to get reduced down just as an industry down to weekly, if not daily, with all the AI that's coming at us, both good and bad. But are y'all, what is your thoughts on just kind of the patch plan going forward? And are you thinking about, hey, how can you reduce the amount of time between patching?
Well, I can give an example of our POC patching. When 9.1 came out, there was actually a 9.1.0.0. It's the latest patch. It's a security patch. It's a live patch. So you'll actually see your ESX host go into a partial maintenance mode state. It'll perform the patch. remediate, and then come out. Nothing changes. Your VMs don't move. It's all done live. And I can't say I haven't seen anything more beautiful. It's such a pleasure. I've spent the last couple nights doing firmware patching, so it was a bit painful. But to watch live patch and live is great.
It was like Christmas already for Chris.
Very, very much so. We did the whole VCF operations in under an hour. I mean, every product, you couldn't beat it. It's great so far.
That's great to hear. And I know when live patching came out, I think in 5.2, everybody was like, "Oh, this is great. We want this, but we got to get to the next version to be able to use it because it was just introduced in that first one."
Yeah, they've been teasing us for years about live patch, but it's my understanding that VMware is going to be doing more security patch releases, which the live patch will benefit us all. So definitely looking forward to that more in the future.
So University of Texas Systems, what are y'all's thoughts on, the patching that's going to be, coming at us at a faster pace, and just really, security overall? I mean, there's a lot of data that, obviously healthcare and university systems has that, you've got to be able to protect, but you want that data access to the AIs and to build out your LLMs so you can, get the benefits of AI. So what's your process on approaching security?
Well, we have always taken a very pro-patching approach. Every time something comes out, we do everything we can to get it patched immediately. vSphere has always been pretty good about patching. vMotion and all the tools work well to be able to. It still takes time, but in terms of complaints in the universe, patching has never been hugely up there for me. I've always been satisfied with VMware, but hey, if you can make it faster, my only comment is, could you get the hardware vendors on board with that? Because the hardware is actually the bigger problem right now because it has to go offline. But no, AI is kind of a double-edged sword because all these things that are making life easier for us are also making it easier for the bad guys. So now we have models that are going out and finding vulnerabilities, which is resulting in more patches, which means we're going to be doing more patching, not less. So yes, absolutely 200% on board with anything we can do to make that make us safer and make that faster.
So from an aspect of, things that you're looking forward to, in 9.1, I know we've talked a little bit about live patching, but from a University of Texas system perspective, what are some of the things, in 9.0 or 9.1 that you're looking forward to? And specifically, I know you got to be looking at memory tiering. So, Ellen or Lance, what are you looking forward to getting into production sooner rather than later, as far as the features?
Yeah, Ellen and I we were just talking about this memory tiering. I think we need to buy drives, right? If we're going to use the existing hardware, so that we can take advantage of that. But I think also the Kubernetes, there's definitely an appetite on our team to really delve into that. Oracle has some flavor of Kubernetes that we may have to integrate and start migrating to also. So those are big.
Yeah, on our share side, we have the benefit of being up for our hardware infrastructure refresh as well. And when you yeah, and that has been challenging, and we're hearing this story a lot from a lot of people that we've actually delayed a little bit to kind of regroup. So anything we can do to get more out of the hardware, we're in favor of. And like I mentioned before, there's a great appetite to get VKS up and running, memory tiering, those kinds of things. For share, we kind of like things to be boring, which is exciting to talk about, but we just want these workloads to work. The more exciting things are kind of more on the AI front of all the things that are being developed for Private AI Foundation, all the things that will help us, bring those workloads forward faster. I suppose that's what we're more excited about.
So I've got to ask about the hardware. What's been your experience as far as the pricing? And is it a scenario where it just, you get a quote and then a month later it's 10 times higher or whatever? And
Like
even if
about
you do place the order, is that, I mean, what time frames
Yeah,
are they telling you they can deliver it in?
we were hearing terms of like net 15 days, 14 days.
between
Like you had,
15 and 30, yeah, between
yeah,
15 and 30 days, and the price goes
yep, yeah. It's insane.
it's been really crazy. And I obviously, if anybody knows where that's going, if you could just, you know what, don't put it in the chat, just private message it to me along with the lottery numbers, please.
Yeah.
I hear you. Christina, Carey, y'all having any issues with hardware, or when initiatives continue to come out, and we got to have compute for this. I think it was you, Lance, talking about Oracle being very hardware and memory intensive. There's a lot of applications that are kind of in that boat. So, what are y'all seeing out there from a hardware acquisition and price perspective?
Kind of saying along the same lines. I mean, we've been a Synergy shop for 6 years now, HP product and hyper converged, and we've been pretty pleased with what we've done. We have purchased some newer gear last year, um, and we went back around and tried to put the same order again in like I'd say late January, and found that the price was like 75% more than what it was the first time we ordered it.
Wow.
Uh, and we were just like, okay, well, no one's going to hand me a check for that right now. So we're in a holding pattern right now. So we have some money budgeted coming up this new year, and hopefully we can squeeze some things out of that. But we're not. I'm not looking at buying refreshing the fleet anytime soon. I'll put it that way.
So are any of y'all in a situation where you're looking at, they've expanded the hardware compatibility list. So it's like, okay, now maybe we don't buy that new server because we can't get it or it's not in budget or whatever, and trying to get more life out of existing equipment. Are y'all able to take advantage of any of that?
Yeah, we've been utilizing third-party support in some of our legacy systems, and transitioning from our primary vendor over to them for support is pretty seamless from that perspective. There's some things we do want the vendor support from a back end perspective. Synergy chassis, where all the brains and everything are at. So we want HP's expertise on that. But when it comes to blades and storage and disks and everything, we can get a much better price through third party support after that initial warranty wears out, and save a substantial amount of money. From the quotes I've seen, it was very substantial.
And are y'all only on-prem, or do you do a little bit with the hyperscalers?
We're on prem. We've got environments in 3 hospitals and 2 data centers. We have a small footprint in 2 cloud providers today for different workloads, and we're kind of scaling back one of them a little bit. But we're kind of agnostic to some degree what we're doing, but on-prem is my choice by far, and even with the price increases these days, it's still the cheaper of the options.
So we had a question here from the audience here for, I guess this is for Christina Care, utilizing extended support. How do you get the OEM to update firmware for the third-party supported hardware? Has getting firmware app with that third party been an issue?
So go
Okay.
ahead, Chris. Yeah, no, please.
I was gonna say, I mean, a third party is providing OEM hardware. So you're getting a motherboard replacement or mezzanine, it will be firmware with latest HPE, firmware drivers, so forth. So we're not getting, even though it's a third party provider, we're getting OEM equipment.
Got it. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of other things that we do outside of VMware with VMUG, and now it seems to be lots of conversations about hardware because all the reasons that we mentioned. All right, we've got about 10 minutes left, so I'll kind of go around the table. Any final closing thoughts? And think about, we've touched on a lot of this, but anything that you're looking forward to in future releases, or where this is going, or even anything outside of VMware that, from a technologist perspective that, you're excited about, or any final thoughts on, hey, this is a lesson learned that I'm sharing with the group so you don't have to get those same skint needs that I do. I'll start with you, Ellen.
Well, I remembered what I was going to say earlier.
Oh,
And
good.
that is to all of the skeptics out there. We all, especially, I'm going to say as old timers who are there at the beginning, we don't like change, right? It's scary. It's
What?
different.
Us? We love
I
change.
know.
What are
It's
you
like,
talking about?
yes, there's a lot of things with VCF that are different. Yes, you might have an adjustment period, but once you dig in, all of those components that you've been using for the last eternity, they're all still there. It all still largely works the same. You just have other tools that help it work a little bit better. And I think that's important to note that it's still a good product. Like I said, the bones are still there. It's got more shiny things on it and more things that are going to AI your life away, right? Um, but it's still a good product. VMware support has been good. VMware is listening, and AI is going to take over our lives anyway. So why, just do it before AI. No, I'm kidding. Thank you.
I mean, I think that is a good point. I mean, these things, you do have to embrace the challenges of learning new technology. AI is certainly, in that category. I got my OpenClaw system running back there that I'm, trying to get it to talk to my Gmail, and that's been a struggle for me, but it's a different session. But it is important to jump in there. I mean, this technology is not backing down. And the good thing about it, and I like what you said, that, the bones are still there. And that's why I feel like VMUG members and VMware customers are in a good spot, because this platform, and you got to think of it as a platform, not a product, can continue your career and continue driving your company, whatever the business is, forward, and allow you to say, hey, these are some features that we can do to save money, maybe memory tiering, to be more secure, live patching, those kind of things. So it's a great foundation for that. And I think the VMUG member and the sysadmins and the platform engineers, we're in a good spot here to take advantage of that. All right, Greg, same question to you. What's your thoughts?
The convergence of the ARIA suite and all the things that are coming to pass with that component in 9.1. I'm excited about that piece of it. I'm excited about the Kubernetes and the AI component, the memory tiering. But if I have to pass anything on to the folks that are listening out there, that around 9.1 or 9.0, pick your flavor, lean on your account team. If you got a TAM, utilize them. If you got an engineer, utilize them. Your sales guy, utilize them. I can't say enough good things about the team that supports Christiana Care, but lean on them. They'll help you through your journey. They'll help you get there. They want you to be successful. Just take advantage of the talents you have around you and the experience that comes with it. So that's what I've got.
That's good advice. And I know many of you might have TAMs, some might not. There was some conversation in chat about smaller customers, and that's where the Broadcom Knights come into play. Those are partners that are highly skilled and they're highly trained up, and they're almost an extension of the Broadcom team. So it doesn't matter what size you are, you can get the support either direct from Broadcom or one of the many partners out there that have the Broadcom Knights, and they have that expertise, which is why members come to VMUG. They want that VMware expertise, so it's still there. All right, Lance, what are your thoughts?
I would just like to say that AI resistance is futile, so join the Borg. Back to what Chris was saying, it was a very good point. Ellen handheld me through our test VCF deployment, and she was like, okay, grab all these passwords, because I don't think it's very clear that you're not going to see them again. When you're doing that initial build, the cloud builder that then builds all the other stuff, it puts a whole bunch of stuff in there, and it does not tell you should grab these. So we had like a notepad running full of passwords. So I don't know if that's a documentation miss on VMware, or maybe some big red flags like you're going to need this stuff later. Was that where we ran into that, Ellen? That seems to I think it was on that VCF build.
The specific issue was if you let it generate your passwords and it hangs during the build, trying to get those passwords back can be difficult. So I think that was already mentioned about knowing your passwords, setting them up, getting that all configured ahead of time will save you some headache.
Yeah. And Chris was more in the context of Kubernetes, but I felt like it was in some of those other steps too, building a VCF. But yeah, skilling up, accepting the fact that you talk to mainframe guys from 20 years ago and they're like, oh gosh, I hated PowerPCs. Oh, I hated this change. I hated Wintel servers. Not hating it, learning, open yourself up to being reskilled.
Good advice. We did have a question that, since I'm on your Lance, I wanted to get your take on. The question is, do y'all have any mission critical real-time databases, I'm thinking Oracle, running on the new platform? If so, have you seen any issues with database consistency replication processes when live patch kicks off? Have you had any experience with that?
So for us, no. Our VCF platform is the AI environment. So we haven't done live patching on the ERP side at all. It's still on vSphere 8. So Chris or Greg may be able to answer that.
Unfortunately, ours live patch is just on our POC currently. We're not going live production until October.
All right. Well, maybe somebody in the chat and the community can answer that question there. All right, Chris, what are your thoughts on what members need to know from your experience?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I've been doing this 20 plus years. Besides VMUG, Broadcom, labs, so forth, don't sell yourself short. Keep learning. This year, I've passed my VCF 9 admin and my architect certification. You can teach an old dog new tricks, and AI is coming. Yes, it's there. However, it's changing, say, VCF 9.1 operations. It's your single pane of glass now. It's not multiple ARIA products. Things are improving. Things are getting better. When you're hesitant, as Ellen said, Lancet, training, labs are your friends. VMUG has tremendous events all the time with people that, it's us, it's you and I. Help each other. We're all here. So keep up the communication, and hope to see some of you at Explorer this year.
That's a great way to close this out. And I just want to thank all our panelists here for participating and sharing, your story and your journey, and encouraging us to continue that journey with all the new tech that's coming. Obviously, AI is a big piece, but who knows what we'll be talking about next year? It'll be some new feature that we'll be talking about, or some major technology breakthrough. It's certainly an exciting time in the IT industry, and man, we are in the thick of it. Being administrators and platform engineers and those kind of things. So I agree with you, Chris. Let's all embrace this and continue to learn. Congratulations on getting your VCP certification. I encourage everybody to do that. I still run into people that think that you have to take the course before you can get your cert sit. That is not the case. Broadcom ended that 2 years ago. So you can go get your certification. If you're at Explore, certification is free. With your ticket, if you go to a Connect, certification is included in that. If you're a VMUG Advantage subscriber, it's discounted if you're not. But yeah, I encourage everybody to check out VMUG Advantage if you want to get certified. We can save you money on that, whether it's half price or completely free, depending on the event that you're at. And we look forward to seeing everybody at VMware Explore. And we do have VMUG Connect in Orlando coming up in October 20th through 22nd. So if that's something that you would like to participate in, you certainly can. So thanks everybody for participating. Again, thanks to the panelists for this insight. I think this has been fascinating, having the conversations. One of the things I really enjoy about this job is sitting down and talking to people, real users about the real stories. So with that, we'll end it. We do have sessions going on after this. So once I close this out, you'll be back in the lobby and you can pick what session you would like to go to next. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.